The coalition of customers affected by the banking sector collapse has expressed their disappointment in government for what they described as inept handling of their locked-up investment payments. Over 2,000 members in the Bono region are kicking against government's 50% payments of a 5-year bond plan. Precious Semevo has more in the following report.
You observe the social distancing by at least stepping onto this particular footnote. If you step here, you're required to check in, and these are specialized pens that you...
The coalition of people affected by the banking collapse includes persons whose investments are still locked up in the many defunct microfinance companies such as DKM, Justa Motors, and the recent bank and financial sector cleanups. Prince Ajay Hayford, like Yaro Abdullahi, Emmanuel Asante, and many others, claims his locked-up investment has rendered him helpless to the extent his sister, who depends on him, has deferred her university education. He, however, hopes the government will ease his burden by paying him in full what he described as his substantial investment.
That's GM Bank. So life is about money. Morning to evening, you have family to take care of. I had a younger sister who was at the university, and then now she has to defer because there's no money to pay the school fees. They all rely on you. I'm very, very, very helpless. Almost like miserable now. At first, we were going up and down, do your normal business as a young man, but now people see you as a kind of a failure in the society just because you did one investment that you thought it would give you interest to make you go higher. The money that I saved, I think that will make life better for me. That's what I want. You should listen to us, give us the money.
At a press conference in Sunyani, the aggrieved customers of the defunct financial institutions with about 2,000 members in the region said the government's new arrangement of a payment plan will worsen their already bad situation. Nicholas Agarena is their spokesperson.
Government is saying they can't pay us. They have issued a 5-year bond for our locked up deposit. How can you take someone's money for 5 good years and say you won't add any interest to the money? Then after many of us depositors agitated by saying we cannot wait for 5 years and we want our money now, then government tells us to take the 5-year bonds to Ghana Consolidated Bank, who would discount the bond by 50% of the face value amount and pay that to us immediately, whilst we forfeit the remaining 50%. Through this action, government has rendered us depositors impotent, useless, and redundant. We have lost our loved ones who died from the shock and pain of losing their lifetime investment. Our wives have deserted us.
He said they are giving the government a 2-week ultimatum to initiate alternative plans to effect payment of their locked-up investment, else they will march to the seat of government and only leave when full payment is done.
We want to use this medium to serve a 2-week ultimatum to government to initiate alternative plans, not the 50% or the 5-year bond, to pay all depositors our monies as soon as possible. We want government to understand that we didn't force them to collapse any bank or financial institutions. If after 2 weeks we don't receive any favorable revised payments from the initial plan by government, we shall besiege the Jubilee House and occupy it till they pay us our money. We shall not leave the Jubilee House until every single one of us is paid. So boy, we have duly served our notice.
For JoyNews, Precious Semevo, Sunyani.